camera. Hi, my name is Gun, and I am an aspiring professional explorer who tells stories about lesser-known lifestyle, history, and the mysterious corners of the world. I've been meaning to do this personal vlog for a while now, after I came back home from my 2 years of backpack travels. And 3 months have already passed since then. As some of you already know, I don't like to appear on camera. I just don't like to appear on camera. It feels really, really awkward, uncomfortable, disgusting. So Gun, why don't you tell us about your journey? Why did you decide to leave? How did it start? What happened throughout the 2 years of your journey? What have you learned? And finally, are you listening? Gun? Why am I still here? After I stopped university and started working as public service agent under the national duty, it was the height of existential questioning. The question of who am I, what do I value most in life, the question of free will. I'm basically saying, what is my life? I can relate to a lot of those who might feel stuck in this perpetual routine and the expectation of others. And for some it might even seem impossible to break that cycle due to extreme economic needs or responsibility for family. As a person who came from a fairly comfortable and stable background, my desire to escape from society and to experience something new every day accumulated in me. I wanted to just become a nobody wherever I go and reset everything I thought I knew about myself and the world around me. To let go of control, to let go of the grasping attitudes towards life. The purpose or reason for my travel started to change and mold throughout the actual journey. But this is how I felt before I left anyway. The journey didn't just happen out of a whim. It required a couple of years of preparation, conditioning my attitude, mentality, and skills. From a person who lacked multiple areas of discipline, I knew I was very far from being able to sustain myself and continue the journey without always being dependent on money and family, which made me feel a bit anxious but curious about the uncertainty. I am infinitely grateful for my parents for supporting the idea, among with countless other things. My dad actually suggested me to do a practice journey in order to develop the skill I need by finding out what I lack through direct experience. So I did the practice journey throughout the 2 years of my public service, and whenever I had the chance off of work, I would just pack up and leave with little to no money and walk the distance through different provinces and villages, sleeping out in random places, and sometimes doing labor in exchange for shelter and food, and often afraid to ask for help. So piece by piece the experience gave me a little bit of a confidence and adaptability in certain scenarios. And although I was still a little bit anxious about leaving everything behind, the impending departure didn't seem to scare me as much. This third question is about to be answered by a super fast-paced video explanation to summarize the 2-year-long backpack travels under 3 to 4 minutes. All of the video except for 1 or 2 scenes were shot with neither gimbal nor drone. During the travels, some of the footages were lost due to theft and my stupidity. What you are viewing is a flashback through the eyes of this curious man. Time to depart. It's gonna be a long journey ahead in this concealed place. Window seat is always cool to look out, but still, I hate planes. So I arrived in Edmonton, Canada to drop by and see my cousin there. I had to get stitched up because I accidentally stabbed myself on the leg with this knife. Bye. My cousin drove all the way near Vulcan in Alberta to drop me off at the farm. I was doing some work in the field in exchange for shelter and food for 1 month. The work mostly consisted of picking and gathering potatoes and lots of other stuff. Hiked around Rocky Mountain and camped there together with my host during the weekend. Back to the farm, into another farm in Saskatchewan. Fertilizing, went on a hunt with the host, picked up this dead bird and ate it. The host family and I, we baked some cake. To America. Crazy
raise the window seat.
Deviated my original plan, met a local dude, and got to do a road trip together starting from Los Angeles along the west coast of California all the way up to San Francisco. Let's skip through the shit. Before Las Vegas, we had to hit the road towards Yosemite National Park. And then, well, this is the route we took. And back to LA, ciao. Met a friend in Texas. He took me to a gun range, shot some guns, running out of money. Went off for some job hunt in Miami. Hung out with some street performers, dancer, b-boy. Yeah. Got robbed. Then I went on working at a construction site. Worked as a cameraman at a strip club for one night. Got some cash. Bye. Flew over to Cuba. Money got stolen again. But nonetheless, Cuba was fun. Went over to Mexico City and taught English to kids for 6 months. Went to Island of the Dead Dolls and stayed overnight. Then I set off on a week-long journey to Copper Canyon on this railway through 39 bridges and 86 tunnels in order to make solo journal documentary on finding the Tarahumara Indians, also known as the Mountain Runners. I ended up spending the night over there. Family came to Cancun for 10 days, just dropping by the Cinco Loop, snorkeled with whale sharks, had some fun in an adventure park called Explore, somewhere near Playa del Carmen, dancing on a ship, clap your hands, I don't know what this is. Went to visit Malinalco and did pretty much nothing for a couple days. Jesus Christ. Back to Island of the Dead Dolls again. Let me take a break here. Too fast? From here on out, the narration will be much shorter because I will be skipping through a lot of things. Just got tired of filming like all the time. To Guatemala. I arrived in Antigua during the Independence Day and spent 5 months in order to aprender español. Went to see the cultural giant kite festival during All Saints Day in Zumpango. The Lantern Festival in Antigua, setting the devil on fire. Pia pia pia. 5, 6, 7. Hung around learning salsa dance, chata dance, merengue, whatever dance. Swing it for me. Saw an active volcano erupting. Went to El Mirador with other travelers. The remote location of El Mirador has prevented it from becoming a popular tourist site. Trekking 5 days into the jungle being the shortest route. The ancient site was once the thriving capital of Mayan civilization. The site is undergoing an approximately 25-year excavation project. I don't have much footage from Utila, so I just put my dive buddy cycling around the island. I stayed in Utila Island in Honduras for a week and did the advanced scuba dive course. After this, I pretty much started to get exhausted and skipped some countries like El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama in order to head straight to Medellin. I was in Colombia mainly to go to the Amazon in Leticia, introducing Amazon jungle guide Luis, Sebastian, and Byro. Among with other travelers, we walked 40 kilometers through the Amazon jungle in search for a shaman named Alfredo, learning the ways of the ayahuasca. Alfredo showing us the ingredients of the ayahuasca. He prepares the ceremony and drinks the ayahuasca first, guiding the ceremony throughout the night. After the ceremony, we got face painted and turned into Avatar. Time to eat up and leave. The river flooded, can't swim, so we took the detour with the canoe and walked all the way back to town. So throughout this trip, even though there's been some ups and downs, when I returned home, I don't think I've changed much as a person, but the attitudes towards daily life has changed. I used to desire adrenaline and a search for a bigger meaning in life, when all you're given is repetitive routine to somehow fit into society. But now I feel it's more important to enjoy the little moments too. Adrenaline and sensationalism is an addiction. The more you get, the stronger dose you need. And all of a sudden, you no longer appreciate day-to-day moments and get your head stuck in the future that is never present. When I was mostly staying at a place where there were no hot water, sometimes no electricity, and had lots of bed bugs and cockroaches roaming around in the room. The moment I stayed in a clean, comfortable, safe, and no food poisoning, etc., it just made everything like 1,000 times more appreciative. These are the things I enjoy more nowadays and constantly remind myself how lucky I am and the appreciation for everything I overlooked. Time to time, whenever I was in need of help, it is very easy to fall into an impression that, do I deserve keep on doing this while always getting help from other people? This conflicting thoughts started to occur and questioning the very purpose for this journey, especially when I was trying to find a job in Miami while running out of budget. And obviously I wasn't allowed to work there since I only had a travel visa with no work permit, and especially in a country that is very strict about these sort of things. Working under the table wasn't the first option to begin with, but it tempted me when things started to get a little desperate. I was sleeping at a construction zone where it was no longer in use and just hoboing out, unable to take a shower. So I would just go into a public toilet in a place like Target and just wash myself when nobody was using it. And often got tricked by other people who would take advantage of my naiveness. And I started to have this tunnel vision, losing sight of why I left in the first place. Why I started travel was the purpose for my travel. I started to lose sight on that. When circumstances and environment restricts the objective, and when there's nothing you can do about it, the only thing you can control is your own perspective. I remember sitting outside at the South Beach alone, contemplating. I saw an old man with no arms drawing a portrait with a pen in his mouth on the street. And that immediately struck me. It struck me really hard. It was a moment of clarity, of just pure appreciation. The fact that I have functional limbs, no disease. The fact that I have both parents alive. No matter what happens, there's nothing to complain about in any circumstances. Shortly after, somebody introduced me to a DJ who saw my video work and had an opportunity to get paid from working at a strip club as a cameraman for the event that they were trying to promote that night. So long story short, I sold those footages, took the cash, flew over to Cuba. Before returning back home, I was actually more worried and nervous than when I first left. Ironically, this whole trip felt like the reality, and this is the dream. I want to appreciate everyone who helped me grow as a person, inspired me, encouraged me in discovery of passions. I am nothing without others, and I intend to keep reminding that to my heart for the rest of my life.